one of my hot takes when it comes to like AI and like marketing is marketers can become better at software development than like an engineer can be at like marketing. Claude, ChatGPT, all these like large language models are so good at coding. It's really like democratized access to like software development. And because you're a marketer who spent like so many years being like intimately familiar with like the challenges, the pain points, what makes a campaign tick versus what doesn't. You understand like the nuances of like these like, maybe ad platforms or like messaging, whatever it may be. You're in a really, really good position to then actually build like the agent, to build the solutions to actually help automate a ton of this work. Probably a lot more familiar than maybe an engineer who spent their entire life like developing software, because you've been on the other side, you've been the actual operator for all these like marketing functions, and now you have the ability to actually build the solutions.
I completely agree with you. We have this concept called the marketing engineer, which we came out with at Zero Click San Francisco in September, and the ethos of that is exactly what you described, of a marketer who becomes an engineer, not an engineer who becomes a marketer, because you need taste, experience, judgment, wisdom of like, it's almost knowing what not to do.
Yeah.
And that's really, really helpful. What do you think about the concept of a marketing engineer in general?
I think marketing engineers are for sure going to catch on like a lot more. You start to see like some companies out there, especially the ones that are like sort of like the frontier, who are thinking of like hiring for these roles. So like some of the ones you might commonly see, like there's like an applied AI role for like, marketing, but then we read the job description, they're like, we're looking for like a marketer here. Like, but this role is like you're part marketer, part like engineer, and like you're gonna be in like this kind of applied AI function where like your customer, quote unquote, is like our internal marketing team. And so I've seen this at companies like Stripe. I think like Ramp and Replit are the good examples where they've come out with like almost like these product focused roles, but they're hiring marketers. And then the job description basically says like, hey, you're a marketer, you've done this your whole life. But instead of like coming in, like managing campaigns, like you're going to come in, you're going to build agents to manage the whole thing end to end. And you're going to oversee all the orchestration. And like, that's going to be your job. And we want somebody who has years of experience doing the thing. And now you're going to build the basically the ecosystem and all these agents to do that thing for you. And I think that's going to be, again, really going to be the future of marketing.
What are you most excited about for how AI can enable marketers to do great work in the future?
AI will be able to help marketers basically free up a lot more of their time. Because you think about a lot of the work that happens today, a lot of it is like highly operational work. And there's a large amount of like overhead that goes into like anything related to marketing, right? If you're like coming out with like a new campaign, if you're like doing like a video shoot, there's a lot of like operational work that needs to go in before you actually even do the thing you wanted to do. So that means if AI can help streamline a lot of that operational, repetitive, high overhead work, that gives marketers more time to focus on their craft. So I think more and more important, especially as like the proliferation of AI becomes, even greater than it already is, right? It's like the attention to detail, attention to craft is going to matter a lot more, as well as like being able to like build like those more like human connections are going to be more and more important. So like what are ways we can have AI maybe handle a lot of the busy work so that marketers can actually focus on doing like their best work, which is like, how do we actually appeal to other humans? So like that aspect of like, whether it's like, how do we develop our brand even better? Or like, how do we actually do things in person like we're doing right now? Those aspects of marketing will become more important. So hopefully as marketers, we'll be able to free up our time to actually focus on that. Yeah.
A lot of the questions I got after my talk last night were about brand and how do you maintain that in the age of AI and taste and all that. And it's funny that we were in a room with other humans and someone was asking me a question of how do you maintain brand, judgment and taste? And my answer was basically like, do more of this, there's more in-person work that I think we can all focus on. And for as much as we live on the internet and AI is so digital, I think that will just make the analog world and sitting in person with somebody else that much more interesting and helpful. Oh, absolutely. Like one of the things I've noticed is like the sort of sub-function of marketing, like field marketing has, I feel like, seen like a reemergence. Like I feel like so many more companies now are like hiring, like so many AI companies are hiring for roles in community, field marketing. They're building like these like ambassador programs. And like the reason is because like it's nice when you
get FaceTime with people. You get people together in a room. It's way easier than doing things like virtually. And as like, again, as like AI becomes like more and more like kind of prevalent, like people actually start craving a lot more of like the human connection, which is why I think a lot of companies actually recognize this now.